Do you know what the biggest mistake is that you can make when repairing your credit? I'm guessing it's probably not what you think, but I'm going to tell you in this video what it is to help you avoid making the mistakes that so many others have made. Hi, my name is Earl Bridges. I am an attorney, a real estate broker, IRS tax specialist, nationally certified credit repair and FICO scoring expert, and author of the book Restore Your Credit and Live the Life of Your Dreams. Thanks for coming to the channel. We talk all things credit education, both personal and business credit. And the goal of this channel just simply is to educate you, teach you the things that none of us were ever taught in school about credit, but which so radically and dramatically affects all of our lives. Okay, so let's get to it. What's the biggest mistake you can make when repairing your credit? And the answer is giving up. Yeah, that's it. Giving up. I have so many individuals who contact me inquiring about the service. A lot of them sign up, and of course whenever someone signs up, they're always gung-ho, they're excited, ready to get the process going, excited to see increases and improvement in their credit scores. But what invariably happens over the course of the next 30, 60, 90 days is that enthusiasm wanes. Okay, so the normal typical course, at least for the way that I do credit repair, is I start off with sending disputes to clean up personal information, remove old addresses and phone numbers and things like that, because that is a critical part of the process, and it's where I start with all of my clients. So I'll send off a letter, I'll send off some letters, but the credit bureaus have 30 days to respond by law. So by the time they get the disputes, a few days have passed, they have 30 days to respond, and then they respond, they send the letters in the mail, and before you know it, we're 40 days down the road. Okay, and I try as much as possible to explain the process to my clients so that they'll understand that this is the timeline. Okay, we'll send off the disputes. It's going to take time to get for you to get those initial responses, and so I try as best I can to prepare them so that they will understand that this is not a quick overnight process. I hope, and I think it is the case in most cases, that we do begin seeing increases in credit scores within 30, 45 days. That's typical. Doesn't happen in every case, but I would say in the majority of cases it does, but we're not going to see the type of dramatic increases that we certainly hope. Again, it's all relative. If somebody's starting off at, say, a 550 credit score, and the goal is to get them, say, at least to 640, so that they would qualify for conventional financing if in fact they are trying to qualify to buy a home, then it's going to take some time to get there. But we would certainly hope in the case of, like I said, within 30, 45 days we will start seeing positive increases, but not likely that we're going to get to 640, 650, 670, 680 within 30 or 45 days. And so I try to explain that this is a process. It is, in a lot of cases, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, with that said, I don't think it should take 2 years to get to, for a client to reach his or her goal. My goal with all of my clients is to get them to a minimum of 640 within six months or less minimum. Now, and again, 640 is sort of a magic number with working with clients trying to qualify by home, because that's the level at which they can qualify for conventional financing. Now, and again, everybody's goals are different when it comes to what it is they're trying to achieve, and what their goal is, and we certainly talk about that at the outset, and I try to set the proper expectations, okay, going in, because I tell individuals who contact me and inquiring about the service, I tell them, if you're not willing to give this a minimum of 6 months, then you really shouldn't sign up, because I'm really probably not the guy for you in terms of repairing your credit, okay? But like I said, I don't think, like I see other companies will, individuals will contact me and say, oh, it's going to take 2 years. Well, no, I don't think that that's the case. But yeah, I think 6 months is a reasonable time frame in most cases. But I see so many individuals who, when they contact me, like I said, they're all excited, which is natural. They're excited to get the process going, and then we'll send off disputes, and again, it'll take 30, 45 days for them to get the responses, and then they'll get responses, and they'll see, oh, well, the credit bureau said that the accounts were verified, so, okay, I guess there's nothing left to do. No, there's a lot left to do, believe me. The majority of deletions of negative items come as a result of the second, third, fourth dispute letters, because, again, there is a process, and it sort of is a step-by-step process, and it just takes time. Credit bureaus get millions of disputes a year. It takes time for them to process. They're not in a hurry, okay? Your dispute isn't any less important than anybody else to them, but it isn't any more important either, okay? So, they get to it in their normal, orderly course of things. But the message for this video, and this is whether you're doing it yourself or whether you've hired a company, it's going to take time. I want to tell you a quick story to sort of illustrate this point. Many years ago, gosh, I don't know, probably like 15 or so years ago, when we moved from one place to another in South Carolina, as typically happens, or as does happen, a final utility bill from the previous home was mailed there, but we weren't there. It wasn't forwarded, and the first notice that I got of it was when there was a negative account that appeared on my credit report. Well, I do credit repair for a living, okay, so I have to have good credit, and I pride myself on my credit and my credit profile. So when this happened, obviously I just it was like a nuclear bomb went off. I was like, oh no, I've got to get this up. This is ridiculous. I don't have any negatives on my report. And this was a utility company back in South Carolina, who I've dealt with many times for clients, and I knew that getting that account off was going to be really difficult, because this particular company prided itself on not deleting negative items ever. And like I said, I spoke with several individuals, explaining the situation, told them that I'd be happy to pay it if they would delete it, and the response was, nope, we never delete. So I told them, I said, okay, fine. I said, you don't have to delete it, but I promise you are going to get to know me very well, because I'm going to dispute this every month that it's on my credit report. You are going to get sick of hearing from me. And it took 2 years of constant disputes. And I wasn't disputing with credit bureaus. I was sending disputes directly to that utility company. I was filing complaints with the CFPB. I was filing complaints with the FTC, the Attorney General's office, the Better Business Bureau, any and everybody who would listen, okay? I filed complaints. And I'll never forget one day, and this literally went on for 2 years. And there was one guy who was in charge of this for that, like the dispute response for that. And he and I almost became friends. It almost became comical because I would write this long dispute, send it to him. He'd get it, and he would write a response and send it back to me. We were going back and forth. And I told him, I said, look, I am never giving this up. I mean, I am not living with this on my credit report for 7 years. I'm not. Okay, I'm happy to pay it. Just delete it. Wouldn't do it. I will never forget. Literally after 2 years, I was sitting in my office. Phone rings, and it's this guy. I don't even remember his name now. This was so many years ago. It's this guy, and he called, and he said, look, and like I said, we were on a first name basis. I knew his name. He said, Earl. He says, I tell you what. He said, Earl, we're going to delete this account. Okay, great. I said, and look, I'm happy to pay it. I admit that I owe it. I want to pay it. And the guy's response, and I'll never forget this. This guy's response was, we don't even want your money. We don't want your money. Just go away. Okay, so. And so they wound up deleting it. But the point of the story is that it takes time, and you have to, when you're doing these things, you have to be persistent. Okay, whether like I said, whether you're doing it yourself or whether somebody else is doing it for you. In the vast majority of cases, you can get to where you want to be, but it's going to take time. And in most cases, and it's going to take effort. But if you are persistent and you stick with it, more often than not, you're going to get the result that you are trying to get. At least that's been my experience in working with clients. So, the video ran a little longer than I had planned, but I do think it's a valuable lesson, valuable to hear, because again, I have so many clients who start off, and then after 30, 45 days, their score hadn't gone up 100 points, and they get discouraged, and they see that, this doesn't work. He sent off disputes, they came back, verified, and it doesn't work. Well, again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Hang in there, be persistent, and I think you'll be pleased with the ultimate end result. If you have any questions about this video or anything credit related, feel free to reach out to me. My contact info will be in the description. Easiest to reach me via email. I do respond. Please, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done it, helps us to grow, get this message out to more people. And if you found this information helpful, please like and leave a comment about this video in particular, or again, if there are any questions you have or other ideas for videos. I'm always interested to hear what you guys want to hear more about. Again, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.